Okay, so now let's talk turkey. I love Thanksgiving because it's just food and people. There's no presents. You don't have to decorate that much. Like, it's just, I love food and people. They're my two favorite things. And so it's just made for me. I love this holiday. It can also be potentially very dangerous. There are some people who have never cooked and they don't cook all year long. And then they decide, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a 20-pound piece of meat that's frozen as hard as a rock, and I'm going to cook it for my entire family. So that can be very dangerous and intimidating because it is a solid block of meat and it has potentially very dangerous bacteria on it. So we need to make sure to be safe when we're preparing this large piece of meat. Some of you got like 12-pound turkeys and some of you got 20-pound turkeys. We didn't really have a choice because we needed 117 of them and there are shortages. So depending on what size you got, there's going to be a whole, it'll be the same techniques, but there will be longer thaw times and longer cooking times in a larger turkey. So you're going to want to make sure to factor that in. Okay, so I'm going to take just a moment to clean things off here so that I can pull the turkey over and we can start talking about it. Okay, so everybody stand by, shift things around. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, hi everyone. It's a challenge when you're working on a computer to make this work, but we're gonna do it together. Okay, so here is our raw turkey, okay? Now, right now it's in this little pan and all is well because all of its bacteria is contained in here. No. Thank you. Okay, so the comment was, we're not cooking our turkey right now. So you need to take the time. We're going to talk all about turkey. This is a good 45 minutes of time for you to pick my brain and me to give you all the things, because this could be the most beautiful meal ever, or if you don't pay attention and take care of things, it could potentially be a disaster. So we have to be careful with turkey. So turkeys are still thawing for you, so you're not going to start cooking them, okay? So the first directions on your turkey tips, let me find those. Turkey preparation tips. Okay, so first step is thaw your turkey, okay? Now, with thawing your turkey, yours is frozen, and for those of you that got the smaller turkeys, they may be thawed by Thursday morning and they may not be. So you may want to take them out on Wednesday and check it out. I think everybody should. You do not take a frozen turkey and put it on the countertop and thaw it like that. It's very dangerous to do that. Salmonella is a bacteria that can be very, very dangerous, especially for children or elders to consume. It can be deadly. But if we take some precautions, we can prevent it from getting onto anything, okay? 2 ways that you can end up consuming live salmonella is by not cooking your turkey properly all the way through and taking raw turkey juice, touching something else in your kitchen, and then not cleaning it. So we're gonna address both of those today, okay? Don't be scared of your turkey. You can absolutely do this. I believe in you, and I'm here to help you with all the things. So when we're thawing our turkey, if it's still frozen, you're gonna take it in the package the way it is, stick it in the sink, and turn the water on just at a trickle and let the water run over it, okay? That's gonna keep everything cold while your turkey thaws, all right? When you store your turkey, whether before you thaw it or during, put it on a pan, because this thing in its wrapper was in a meat department, and meat departments are dirty. They got all kinds of stuff in there. Even if they're the cleanest meat department you've ever seen, they still have bacteria all over the place. So if you assume salmonella is all over this thing from start to until it goes into the oven, you'll be golden, okay? So we're gonna thaw our turkeys by just running water over them gently. Do not blast the water on, because you're gonna splash whatever is on the outside of your turkey all over your kitchen. So just turn the water on delicately and let it just run over the turkey, and it will thaw your turkey slowly. It may take a few hours. Flip your turkey over a couple times, and remember to wash your hands every time you touch it, okay? Then once your turkey is thawed, you're going to bring a pan right next to the sink, and you are going to cut there's a few of the turkey packages you have to cut, and some of them you can pull the bottom and they come apart, whatever works. And you are going to you also want to have the trash can close to you when you're working with the turkey. So if you have things you need to throw away, you don't have to like open a cabinet or anything. Because once you start touching turkey, you can't touch anything else in your kitchen without washing your hands. People will often touch a turkey and come over and open their refrigerator with a nasty hand. And then their children can come along and open that same refrigerator and grab an apple and eat it raw. That's cross-contamination. So we're gonna prevent that from happening. So once you take your turkey out of the packaging, throw the packaging away and lift the turkey into the pan, okay? You can just get one of these disposable pans at a dollar store. You could use one of these guys right here. You could get a baking sheet like this, but bigger, as long as it has a lip on the side like this, because you want to catch any drips that come off the turkey, okay? Then you can pick this up and move it around and do what you need to do, and you're good to go, okay? Let's see, some other things we talked about. Oh, sanitizing your kitchen. So before you start cooking, you need to clean your kitchen. In fact, even before I go grocery shopping, I clean out my fridge and I bleach my fridge, because you're gonna put food in there. And you're able to pull all the stuff out of the back and get rid of things that aren't good anymore. And when you bring in a turkey and you're feeding all of these people in your house, it's gonna be much safer if you start with a very clean kitchen. So clean your fridge, clean your kitchen. And even before I cook at home and before we cook here in the food lab, every place that a person could touch or grab is wiped down with soapy bleach water. So if you get yourself like you can maybe fill your sink with soapy hot water, okay? And then you're gonna add about a tablespoon of bleach. You can eyeball it, just a little bloop, in a gallon of water, and a gallon of soapy water. And that is gonna be an excellent sanitizer. Normally in the food lab, we do separate soapy water and separate sanitizer water, but I know that's not realistic for a household. So you can mix the two, okay? Make sure that the bleach that you use is not the thickened bleach, that easy pour bleach. It has a thickener in it. That's not what you're gonna use. Just get plain old store brand bleach, the thin, regular stuff. And just put a little bit in and then wipe everything down. So wipe down the handle of your refrigerator, wipe down all the handles of all the drawers. It doesn't take long, and you're never going to get rid of all the bacteria, but you'll be able to bring the numbers down so everything stays safe. So when you start clean, it's easier to keep things clean. So now you've got your turkey, it's out of the package, it's thawed and it's in a pan. And now we're going to talk about how to prepare your turkey to go into the oven. Okay, so I'm going to show you some optional things that you can do. You do not have to do all of these things to make your turkey delicious. So I'll show you some of those things, which ones are optional and which ones are not. So before I get started, I've made my soapy water. I happen to have a little tub of it. Hold on. Right here, okay? And I like to use washcloths, okay? Try to, if you can, avoid using a sponge. If you use a sponge and you have to use a sponge, put the sponge, wet it, and put it in the microwave and microwave it for a minute until it is boiling hot. Be careful taking it out of there. Use some tongs or something so you don't burn yourself. But a sponge, just by the way that it's made, traps bacteria and allows it to grow. So I prefer using these little washcloths. They're very inexpensive at your big box stores, and you can put these in the washing machine in the dryer. So that's what I prefer to use. It's just cleaner. So once I am about to work with a turkey, I've sanitized everything, and I know that if I move away from this area to go and touch anything else, I have to wash my hands first. So this is called a hot zone or a danger zone, so that we need to pay attention to anything we touch on here is going to be covered in bacteria, okay? But again, it's fine. Resist the temptation to wash the bird, okay? And this goes for chicken, it goes for turkey, it goes for everything. And I can tell, Cecilia, you are shocked. I can see the dismay in your eyes. And here's why, okay? People used to wash turkey and chicken all the time, but there's been some studies that have come out where they've put like a light marker, a chemical on the chicken, and then they have people wash their chicken like they normally do, and then they take a black light and they look around, and there is chicken juice on the backsplash, on the handle, on the walls, on your towel, on your clean drain board. You know how dangerous that is to get salmonella juice all over your clean drain board? So this is why, if you insist on washing your bird, you use the thinnest stream of water and you bleach everything afterwards. It really makes a huge mess. So this bird is going to go in the oven, and it's going to be heated to a minimum of 165 degrees. It's going to kill all the bacteria on there. So you have a more likely chance of hurting yourself or your family if you wash the bird and you get dangerous bacteria all over your cooking area. So that's why I'm saying, yeah. So I know it doesn't feel good. You're like, ooh, it's kind of slimy. That all cooks. It doesn't matter. It's just protein. It will cook. So just something to keep in mind. So just resist the temptation, because, it's so easy to contaminate your entire kitchen with these. Okay. So, but I'll tell you, there's two things only that I've said in cooking classes or food safety classes that anger Southern women, and that is, don't wash your bird and don't stuff your bird. Stuffing your bird is very dangerous because you are putting all that dense stuffing inside, and it's gonna take forever for the inside of that bird to heat up to 165 degrees, which is what you need to cook it to so that it's safe, okay? And so where's my thermometer? Go to the store and get yourself one of these, even if you only use it a couple times a year. This is everything, because then you're not yanking the bird apart to see if the juices run clear. this right here will tell you exactly if your bird is cooked. And then you don't worry about ripping the leg off before you serve it on the table either. This is much more accurate, and you'll take it out at the right time. You won't worry if it's done or not because you have data. You got science on your side with this rather than just guessing. Okay, gotcha. We are going to go ahead and get into our bird. Oh, one other pointer about stuffing the bird. If you stuff the bird and you heat it up to 165 in the middle, boop, you would measure it, the outside is gonna be like 190 degrees and it's gonna be like shoe leather. So don't stuff your bird. It's really not worth it. But that has made quite a few Southern women angry with me, and I'm sorry, but I'm just here to keep you and your family safe. Okay, moving on. All right, so here is my Tom turkey, okay? And I've got a few things I wanna show you that are optional, but make things delicious, okay? So you could just take this bird and throw it on your pan and cook it, and it will be delicious, okay? Or you can do some other things that make it even more delicious. So let's make it more delicious. I've got my pan and I've got a rack in here. See that? Okay. Now, when I put my turkey in the pan, the further down it sits, see how far my turkey sits down here? Everything above the edge of the pan will turn brown. Everything below the edge of the pan will steam and stay white. I like crispy skin. So I want to try to take this bird and make him sit outside the pan a little bit so that I can have the most delicious crispy skin, because everybody wants crispy skin. If they didn't, you would boil your turkey. So we're going to take our pan, and even though I have this handy rack in there, I want my turkey to sit higher. So I'm going to build a rack out of vegetables. So just get yourself some onions. You see that? Okay, we're gonna get some onions and we're gonna like build up a little rack with some carrots and some celery, okay? And I'm just gonna like crisscross these, leave them whole because then they're stronger and they can hold up the weight of your turkey. And I'm gonna do like a little crisscross pattern. And I'm gonna put some onions in here. And not only does this lift the turkey up so it gets more brown all around, but it also, now you're making another side dish to serve on the table. People love whole roasted vegetables with delicious chicken juice on them. And then also, you're making the drippings that end up in the pan more delicious to make even more delicious gravy. So it's like a win-win-win, okay? Now, I'm gonna take my turkey, I'm gonna put it right on here, all right? Okay, so yes. Yes, so this turkey is brined. You do not have to brine a turkey to make it delicious. In fact, if you are not experienced dealing with hot zones, brining is not for you. If you're used to dealing with a hot zone, you can brine a turkey. I prefer a wet brine if it's this close to the holiday. Brining is where you take a salty, you can just use salt and water. But I like to use, there's a recipe called Alton Brown's Turkey Brine, and he explains it on YouTube, and it's an excellent recipe. And he uses broth and cinnamon stick and peppercorns and all of these flavorings, and he uses salt and sugar. I use the same proportions. I use a little bit of different spices, but you basically put this turkey under that briny water for at least 8 to 10 hours. And at first it pulls moisture out of the turkey, and then it just by, I won't get too scientific, but suffice it to say that water ends up being pushed inside of the turkey meat, and it is very juicy. It's very difficult to dry out a brined turkey. You can also do what's called a dry brine, where you rub the turkey down with salt, but that needs to sit for like 3 or 4 days. So you don't have time to do a dry brine right If you tried to do, thank you for putting that in there, Mary. If you tried to do a dry brine this soon, all it would do is draw moisture out of the turkey, and then it would not have time for the moisture to go back in, and it would not be as delicious. So, but again, don't brine a turkey. If this is the first time you've ever roasted a turkey, just roast the turkey. Keep it real simple. But once you get fancy and you've done it a few times, a wet brine is lovely. It also is more, gives you more, it's a little more forgiving with the time that it spends in the oven, because if you put the turkey in the oven and you get interrupted and your mama calls and you end up cooking it to 175, it'll be fine because the moisture stays inside the bird. So it's a beautiful thing. I wanted to do that, but with over 100 people, it was kind of dangerous. So maybe if we can do this in person next year, I can roast one side by side and you can taste it, and it's something to behold. So, but for now, we're just gonna go and pretend that this turkey is not brined, okay? So, other ways that we can make this delicious. All right, again, not required, but I have, let me wash my hands because I wanna touch these fresh herbs and show them to you. Okay, fortunately, in my yard, rather than growing flowers, I grow herbs, because herbs are easy. I only use sage like 4 times a year, but fresh sage, there's nothing like it. It's beautiful. This plant, someone gave me this plant when their garden was shutting down, and I dug it up and I brought it home, and I have moved this plant 4 different times, and it's like a big tree, and I just dig it up and move it around, and it's basically indestructible and it smells great. So we're going to take some sage, and then we're going to take some, take this one. So I've got my sage, and then I'm going to take some rosemary. If you're going to grow, I recommend, if you are an inexperienced gardener, grow herbs because they're so expensive to buy. That's rosemary. That's sage. Wish you could smell this. So good. You can take the simplest dishes, and if you've got fresh herbs, it makes them so fancy. And these are free. They're the easiest thing to grow. But buying them this much right here will cost $4 at Harris Teeter. It makes me angry when I see that. I feel like it's unfair. Anyway, so I'm going to put that with that one. And then I've got this one that's really rare. You can't, I've never even seen this where you could buy it, but I grow it. It's called savory. And it smells very, very medicinal. So I'm going to put that in there. And then, ooh, look at this. I have fresh bay leaves. I have a bay tree in my front yard. Again, I don't have to do anything to it. I stuck it in when it was about this big, and now it's almost as tall as me. So I'm going to take some bay leaves, and we'll break those off too. And then I'm going to take some thyme. Yeah, there's a little thyme right there. I'm going to take some of that. Not all of it. And then oregano. This is a sweet little shrub. It just grows like a weed. I don't have to do anything to it. And I'm going to take these. This is going to go on the inside of my turkey. It leaves lots of room for hot air to get around. It scents the turkey meat with these herbs, and then it makes the drippings more delicious, because the more delicious you make your drippings, the better your gravy will be. Okay, so we're going to take this. We're going to pop that in the turkey. So there's plenty of room and air in here. And when this gets hot, they'll wilt. So you're not increasing the danger if you put a little plants in there. You're fine. Okay. So I'm also going to take some garlic, just some, garlic cloves, throw some in the turkey and make my drippings more delicious like that. Now, let me show you. You see how the turkey came with its little legs all popped together like that? I like to release these because the hardest part for it to heat is down in here. So I don't tie my turkey up like that. I let it just fly free like that, because then you're going to get more browning and the hot air can get in here a little bit better. Okay. Because the goal is to get this part hot enough before this dries out. That's it. Now I'm going to take my little wing tips here and I'm going to tuck them. I call this yoga turkey. He's doing his stretches. We're gonna take this and we're gonna tuck it back here. Now, I have to show you, okay? Often newbies who've never done a turkey don't know that in here, there's actually giblets, the heart and the liver and all of that. I don't like to eat these, but I did when I was a child. My grandmother made giblet gravy and I loved it. For some reason, now that I'm older, I hate it. But I cook these and give them to my dogs. They love me for it. So you could do that. These are also very nutritious. It's really up to you what you want to do with these. I feed them to my dogs. So, but if you don't know that that's in there, normally the neck will come out of the inside. And in fact, I think I left it in there. Sorry, let me grab that. Oh, rookie mistake. Okay. So here's the neck. I'm going to put the neck in here to roast it because the more drippings that come down, this is going to flavor the drippings even more. So I'm going to put that in there and I'm going to cook this first and then feed it to your dogs. Do not feed them raw meat. You don't want to give them salmonella either because even if they don't get sick from it, then they're spreading it all over your yard, which you do not want. So, okay. One more added thing you can do that is not required to make your turkey delicious or safe, but it does make it more delicious, is you're going to take your turkey skin and very delicately, ever so delicately, work your fingers up into the body, okay? Up into under the skin. You see how I'm doing that? Okay, and I'm going to do that on the leg too. I'm going to loosen up the skin. Again, this is not required, but it makes your drippings in your turkey a little more delicious, okay? And then I'm going to do the other side, okay? All right. And now I'm going to take butter, and I'm going to make sure it's real soft, okay? And you can put herbs in here, you can put salt in here, you can put pepper in here. Do you see how I'm touching this butter with my nasty turkey hands? I can't use this for anything else unless I cook it first, okay? But I'm probably not going to use all this butter. I might cook it with the giblets that I'm going to feed to my dogs, okay? Just be aware of that. And then I'm going to take this butter and I'm going to massage it a little, and I'm going to put it under the skin like that. You could put herbs in this butter. Oh, so good. And I'm going to put a little more butter on the other side. And I'm just going to massage it up on Tom right there, just like that. See? Okay. All right. I broke the skin a little, which isn't preferred, but I'm just going to smooth it back over. Okay. You're preheating your oven to 350 degrees. All right. You can do these tricks 3 or 4 days ahead. Once your Tom turkey is thawed, you're good to do this. Pop it in the refrigerator and leave it there. And then when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or whenever you want to have dinner, take it out of the oven. Take it out of the refrigerator, set it on the countertop and let it warm up a little bit. You don't, maybe like a half hour or something, and then pop it in the oven. And you will be very, very happy, and so will your guests. Okay, let me put a little bit in the legs. So we don't want his little legs to dry out. But again, you don't have to do this. This does make the drippings even more delicious. Okay. All right, what are we doing on time? Okay, this is perfect. All right, so now, do a little massage. He's had a rough day. Okay. All right, he's ready, okay? So we can wrap him up and stick him in the fridge and then take him out and cook him on Thanksgiving, okay? So we're gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna clean this hot zone and then we're gonna carve a turkey because I cooked one for you already, okay? Stand by.
Cheralyn, you're muted.
But we understand that she cannot touch the computer right now.
Mary and Cheralyn, I believe that Cheralyn is muted. We can't hear her.
Okay, sorry, I was talking to other people. We were cleaning things. Everything's clean, my hands are clean. This turkey actually came out of the oven a couple of hours ago and I just kept it in there to keep it a little bit warm. Normally, I would cook this. I would cook it to temperature and I'll show you how to measure that. So, one thing I forgot to tell you is before you put your turkey in the oven, put a cup of water in the bottom of the pan. And the reason for that is that if I get some beautiful drippage coming off of this, either the butter or the drippings from the turkey, you don't want it to hit an empty hot pan because it can burn when it's just starting, and then you'll have a burned flavor in your turkey drippings. So if you put a cup of water, anything that comes off the turkey will just become part of the delicious broth, okay? So that's a nice little tip. Now, your buddy, the thermometer comes out again, okay? When you are, perfect, will you wash that for me? Perfect, when you are measuring the temperature of your turkey, you're gonna take your turkey out of the oven. Do not baste your turkey. It's a gigantic waste of time. This thing right here is a turkey baster. See how I like metal better than plastic? And I use this to just take the juices out of here and put them into a pan to make gravy with, because opening up your oven to take liquid and pour it all over your turkey that you're trying to get crisp makes zero sense, because you're just wetting something that you want to get crispy, which is not a good idea. And most people open their oven and stand there for 5 minutes basting their turkey, which does nothing but cool your oven down, so it takes 3 times as long for you to cook your turkey. So do not open your oven while you're cooking your turkey unless it's for a reason like measuring the temperature. And so what you'll do, if you're going to use one of these foil pans, make sure it's on a harder pan, because this is, especially when it gets hot, gets much more pliable and it can be dangerous. You can burn yourself because you'll pick it up, it'll bow in the middle and drippings can get on you. So just be careful and put it on a sturdier pan, okay? And then you're gonna take it out, set it on the top of the stove and shut your oven quickly, okay? Have somebody help you. Have somebody open the oven for you. You grab the turkey, make sure you have a place to put it before you open the oven. Take it out, shut the oven, keep that heat inside. Then you're going to take your thermometer and you're gonna stick it down into here. If you hit a bone, back out, okay? And then you're gonna measure the temperature. This is considerably cooler because it was a couple hours ago that I cooked it. Another place to measure is inside the body through the thigh, okay? Because remember, this is the part that takes the longest to get hot. That's where you want to measure it, okay? Oh yeah, it's still like 145 even after 2 hours. Yeah, sure, you can measure the breast, but the breast, if this is cooked, the breast is already cooked. If you turkey and you open it up and it's got one of those little thermometers that's supposed to boop, pop out, take it out and throw it away because it's worthless. This cooks the fastest. This has no idea what's going on down over here, okay? And what that little pop-up thermometer is just a little red insert inside of a white cone that has a little drop of adhesive at the bottom of it and a spring. So they glue that spring down, and when this reaches 165, that adhesive melts, boop, and it pops up. But if this is 165, this could still be 140, and you haven't killed your salmonella. So throw that thing away and spend $1 to $5 to get you one of these handy thermometers that will last you forever. Okay, so let's carve a turkey. Any questions so far? We have about 15 more minutes. Okay, all right, we're gonna carve a turkey now. Okay, so you can, by all means, take your turkey, put it on a platter, bring it to the table and carve it in front of the family. That's really beautiful to do. However, it's a little bit of a challenge because you've got hot burning meat sitting in front of people. It's often better, if you have a smaller group, it's fine to carve at the table. But if you have a larger group, carve in the kitchen and just bring the stuff to the table. It's going to be much easier and a lot less stressful for you. But it really, you know, there are some like dads and grandpas that they want that like Norman Rockwell painting. For my Spanish speakers, there is a artist that's a classic American artist called Norman Rockwell. And he would do these kind of family, you know, and children paintings. And one of which is very famous, where there's like the dad at the head of the table carving the turkey for the family. So people want that and you can have it, but let me just show you how to do it in the kitchen to make your life easier. So that's perfect, thank you. Get yourself a platter. Okay, and then we're going to try to do this on an angle so we can see everything. See if I can, I'll do this right here. Okay. All right, so we can see. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the breast first, okay? What we're gonna do is there's this breast, this is the top of it, this is where the wishbone is, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the breast from the bird and cut it here on the board, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna do is take my knife, okay? And I'm gonna cut into the turkey right down the middle until I hit the breastbone, okay? And then I'm gonna tilt it to the right and I'm gonna shave the meat right off the bone. Okay. All right, so there's one. And then I'm gonna flip it around and do the other side. It's been 2 hours and this is still very hot turkey. And just make sure that you're delicate with the skin, because ideally you would like to cut the skin so that there's a tiny slice of skin with each piece of turkey. Okay, here's the other one, all right? So see those? Okay. Now, okay, so the way that you slice these, now if you, let's say you got one of those 20-pound turkeys and there's only 2 of you, there's no way you're gonna be able to eat all that turkey. So if you wanted to save some, now would be the time to let one breast cool down completely, wrap it in plastic and then in foil and stick it in the freezer. And then it'll be good for 6 months like that, as long as you get all the air out of the container, okay? Leave that in there, you can take it out, let it thaw in the refrigerator, and then you can slice it really thin, serve it with gravy, serve it on sandwiches, but you don't have to force yourself to get sick of turkey if you have a 20-pound turkey and there's only 2 of you. I think most of the big families got the big turkeys, but just, you know, we had to take what we could get. All right, so I am going to, the grains of the meat or the fibers of the meat go this way. So we're gonna cut this way because you wanna cut what's called against the grain, because the muscle fibers are long and stringy. And if you cut the same way as them, you're chewing and it's hard, your teeth have to do that work. But if that long fiber gets cut against it, then the fiber is only this long when it gets into your mouth, and then it's much easier to chew and digest. Just think of grandma and grandpa. If they have false teeth, trust me, you don't want to give them that long piece of meat. You want it to be very thin and cut nice. Okay, so we're going to do that now. I'm just going to cut. Just be very gentle. Have a sharp knife. All right, can everybody see? See how beautiful those little slices are? But just be firm yet tender and hold the skin in place, because you don't want, you know, just Uncle Joey getting all the skin. Everybody wants a little bit. You worked so hard to keep this thing crispy. I know when people shred a turkey instead of slicing it, it's such a bummer. I mean, it's okay. I'm grateful because somebody cooked for me, but come on now. YouTube exists. There's no reason to shred your turkey. You just Google it. Okay, so when you can pick it up with your knife, you put that, doesn't it look pretty? Isn't that nice? Okay. So in the interest of time, I'm gonna not carve this breast and we're gonna go on to the rest of the turkey. So we're gonna pick up the turkey. We're gonna move it over, okay? Now, the wing is easy because you're just gonna cut down until you reach the joint. And because this is fully cooked, it'll pop right out of the joint. I hope there's no vegans on this class. I'm very sorry. Okay. There's a little tendon and you can just pop that tendon and it'll come right out. Turkey wing. All right. Now, you don't have to give somebody the whole turkey leg. You can, sometimes some uncles or whoever, they love the turkey leg, or a kid likes to run around like he's at the Renaissance fair. But you can actually cut the meat off the leg so everyone can share it. What we're gonna do first though, is you can just reach back and have the turkey do the splits and just pop this out like that, okay? So it just comes right out. All right, and then we're gonna separate the bone from the meat and just cut around it. And this will pull right out. See that? Okay. Then, so you can see where this was not exposed to the hot air, it's like wet, you know, it's not the same. Now, we're gonna separate the leg from the thigh, okay? To keep it pretty, you can cut right into the top of the leg, right where the joint is, okay? And then when you break this off, you won't rip the leg. I'm of the opinion that if it's an elder, like a grandpa or grandpa or grandma, they can have the whole leg if they want, but anybody else, they gotta share it. So let me show you how to do the, I'm gonna take the fat off of this thigh because it's not crispy, and I can save that for stock, because stock chicken broth save all of the skin that you're not using, all the tendons, bones, and you make a beautiful soup. That could be a whole other class, stocks and broths. But here is my turkey, and you can see the long fibers going this way. And if you flip it over, the bone is there. See that long bone? We're gonna cut right on top of that bone until we reach the bone, okay? And then we're just gonna kind of trim very delicately around the bone to get the meat off without like totally pulling apart the whole thigh, okay? And you can like trim this piece off if you want, but I try to keep as much of it intact as possible, okay? All right, so a little piece. And then now you've got this long piece with these long fibers, and again, we're gonna cut against those fibers, okay? Like this. All righty. Okay. And now you can, oops, line these up a little bit and then pick them up and put them right next to the breast. So see, it looks nice. Now the leg, you can just take and shave, just like that, okay? Oops. There is a kind of thin, pointy bone in here. Make sure that doesn't end up on your carving tray, okay? And now, just like, you know, this has the long fibers going this way, parallel with the bone, so we're gonna cut it this way. Oop, there's a little tendon in there. Let's get that out of there. And then we're just gonna put that right over on the tray. Now that you've seen all the major parts, I want to show you the finest part of the turkey that people often don't know about, and it's called the oyster, okay? So the oyster is where, oh, it looks like, hold the one off this one, but if you turn this around and you look at where the thigh comes up, it's sort of like our sciatica, like right here, okay? So as I pull back, like so, you can feel it. It's right here. It's connected to the back, all right? So I come in here and I can pull this off, and it's one piece of meat. This is the tenderloin of the turkey. It's the most tender, beautiful. They call it an oyster because it's the size of an oyster. And I save these for the children in my family because I want them to have a taste for the finer things in life at a very young age. So I always save this for the youngest member, whoever is in the group. And I have a new nephew. My sister had a miracle baby at 44. I have a new nephew that's 6 months old. And the first Thanksgiving I have with him, he will get the oysters off the turkey. So that's about all I got for you now, because we're just a few minutes to 8 o'clock, but I wish we had another hour because I'd show you gravy and stocks and talk to you forever about science. But any final questions before we go? Okay, great question. How long does it take to cook the turkey? It depends on how big your turkey is, how hot your oven is, how often you open it, and how much stuff you put inside of it. So really, like, this was a 13-pound turkey. It took about 2.5 hours. So it also depends on how cold it is when you put it in the oven. So make sure that when you put your turkey in the oven, that you put the racks low in the oven and you remove the upper racks. So when you put your turkey in the oven, it's almost like it's floating directly in the center of your oven, top to bottom, side to side. About an hour, hour and a half into the cooking, open your oven and flip it around because the back of the oven is hotter than the front of the oven. So you want to flip it around so that legs are pointing one way and then they're pointing the other way for the rest of the turkey cooking, okay? Any other pointers? Let's see. Yeah, just measuring the temperature. If the browning on the breast starts to get too dark, just take a piece of foil and cover the top of the turkey. You can even cut it before you put it in. You can kind of size up the foil so that it fits just on the body, the middle body of the turkey, just over the breast, so the legs are still exposed. And that way you will still have a crisp breast skin, but not burn the turkey and turn the skin too dark.
Hello, this is Andrew. How are you today?
Good, how are you? It was Andrew said, how are you doing today? Hi, this is Andrew. How are you doing today?
He was on my phone, dear. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I had unmuted myself, but I'll mute myself back.
That must have been weird. Okay, so yeah, are there any other questions, concerns, comments, anything I can help you with before we go into the great holiday that is 2021, Thanksgiving?
Can I show my squash?
Yeah. Ooh, where are you? Hold on.
Wait, you get the light?
How do we pin you? Because there's so many people on here. I don't. Oh, Cara Andrade. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Look, Cara did it.
I did it. It's pretty.
It's beautiful. Good job. And you got one of those really like
Yeah.
hard too. Excellent.
Yeah. It's really soft too. Super tender. Well done. The fennel's not bad. The fennel's actually quite good.
Oh, you're the one that put the fennel in it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's pretty tasty. It's crunchy.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Oh, let me look at the chat. Okay, let me see. Where is it? Is it?
Says, can I have your order?
Oh, yes, Jessica, I would love to come over next year. We'll just have a big party. We can all go. Jessica. Okay, so gravy. Let's talk about it. If everybody has to leave, you can. I don't want to keep people up all night, but let's talk about gravy for a second. Okay, well, the way I make gravy is, again, like hurt your feelings gravy. It's a little more complicated, but I'll teach you the easiest way. Okay, it says on your turkey tips, an easy way to make gravy. And that is take your drippings, once they're cooled a little, and pour them into a container so you can tell how much is there. You could take one of these jars, And you can use your turkey baster and you suck the moisture out and put it not in your salad, but in an empty jar. And that'll tell you how many cups that you have, okay? Then you take this jar and you dump it into a pot. You can strain it if you want to get the stuff out of it. And now, so let's say you have 3 cups of drippings, okay? Bring your drippings to a boil, taste them, see if you would need any salt or pepper or anything in there, okay? And then in a separate little glass, you're gonna put 1 teaspoon of cornstarch per cup of drippings. Stir that up, and when your broth boils, when your drippings boil, dump it in and cook it for a minute, and it'll thicken up, and that'll be a beautiful, super easy gravy, okay? My gravy is a little more complicated. I make a roux. So what I do is I take this and I put it in a gravy separator. That is a vessel with a little like spout that comes off the bottom because fat floats on water. And I pour all of the broth off and the fat is left. And that fat goes in a pan. And then I add the same amount of flour to that pan and I cook it for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it makes what's called a roux. And it's how all French mother sauces are made. But you cook that together and it starts to get toasty brown. And then I take the broth part and strain it into there and cook it, and it thickens up right away. And then I turn it off and I stir in roasted garlic. Can we grab a thing of roasted garlic for me, Tony, please? Yeah. I stir in roasted garlic, mashed roasted garlic. And it is the most beautiful, delicious gravy ever because it's ultra turkey, and nobody knows where that taste comes from because it's the roasted garlic and it's like the secret ingredient, but I'm giving it to you folks. So you can take whole garlic cloves, cover them in oil, put them in a pan and roast them at 350. You can do it right next to your turkey because they don't take very much space. And I just get the whole garlic cloves and I roast them in oil. And then once they're cooled, I mash them into a paste and I stir that into the gravy before I serve it. And there's a saying in the South for my Spanish speakers. It's called like when a lady is making something that's so good, they say, this is gonna hurt your feelings. And where that comes from is that when people do potlucks and everybody brings something to the table and all of their stuff gets eaten first, it hurts everybody else's feelings. So I call it hurt your feelings gravy. And I'm giving you the secrets of how to make hurt your feelings gravy. It is a little more complicated, but it's only once a year. It's only once a year. Another thing that I think is interesting for my Spanish speakers or for anybody else that's never heard this, I only came to the South 6 years ago and I cooked something. I've heard this multiple times, but the first time it surprised me. I served something to a Southern woman and she said, "Oh, you put your foot in this." And I was like, no, I would never put my foot in something that I was going to serve someone. But it's a saying that like you put like a piece of you in it or something, that like you put your foot in this, like it's good. It's like the best. And I love that saying. I think it's beautiful and amazing and very cultural for this place. So. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for coming and sticking around for an extra few minutes. It was absolutely wonderful to work and teach with you today. I wish I could come over and cook for all of you on Thanksgiving, but this class will have to do. So I'm honored that you were all here, and I hope to cook for you again in the future, or cook with you again in the future.
Thanks so much.
We enjoyed
We
it.
enjoyed you.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining, everybody. Yeah, I realized I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, but yeah, I am Mary Oxnine. I do work with Cheralyn Berry here at the Cooperative Extension, and we will probably have some future virtual cooking classes and maybe one day in life in-person cooking classes. But yeah, I am Durham County's Food Security Coordinator, and yeah, feel free to contact me. All of you have my email if you have any questions about the class, but we'll send out links to the recording and to all the recipes, and perhaps we'll include gravy on there too. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bon appetit, buen provecho.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you. Good night. It
Thank you.
was excellent.
Happy